there are always things about Taitokoro that is different. Every rohe is unique, every place has got its own energy, its own vibe, it's got its own unique sets of relationships. But I think one of the things that I've been most encouraged by is just seeing the enormous courage that people have had, the changes that people have made, and maybe for people inside providers or inside collectives or inside communities, those changes might not be as obvious because they've happened gradually and over time. But there's enormous growth going on. I think there's a lot of sharing and collaboration in places where it wasn't happening before, and there's still room for that to grow and expand. So, you know, bouquets but not perfection, but that's normal, and I think people are coming together over the things that they can agree on.
Ngā mahi, kia whakakotahitia mai, te whānau, te hapu, I roto I ngā rohe, so that we can once again stand proudly on our own 2 feet. But since they're holding the most of our putia, I have no shame in going and getting it from them, because it actually does belong to us. Remember that. It is ours, and we must have it, and we are entitled to it.
In terms of the whānau collectives, you've got 4 in Te Taitokoro, and it's not about excluding people, it's about including. There's a lot of organisations I've seen today that aren't actually part of collectives in Taitokoro, and that was one of the key things as part of the lead for the symposium with Te Hauā Whiwhiu, is that we would not exclude anyone. It's not about, because it's not about us. It should never be about us.
We've had some remarkable archaeological studies done, places like Poerua, which I referred to, and they've been able to trace there what the whānau system looked like in the very first settlements in Taitokoro, and it's in there that the word kāinga comes up consistently, and there's never a discussion of kāinga without a reference to whānau and vice versa. So that's what triggered my thinking, and I thought this is a good symposium, because where else could we restore and bring the kāinga back as a system of organisation, a structure, I call it, and build it into the way we live and work, and than here, because we have a long history of it. And as I said in the thing, it does make you realise why the word kāinga is in the treaty and not the word whānau.
Linking back to whānau, recently my children who are Ngāti Tō on their father's side had a hui at the marae in Ngāti Tō, and I realised without even thinking about it consciously that my little whānau can do all of the rituals we encounter. So they've got kaiwhai kōrero, I have kai karanga, my son's in the wharekai, and I didn't set out to plan to do that, but from my perspective that's actually really aspirational, and I'd like to make sure that my mohos have got that skill as well, because the grounding in who it is to be Māori, to be Ngāti Tō, Ngāti Whātua, and Ngāti Kaupapa is really critical for their resilience in the world.
We are unique in that out of the 8 of our providers in our primary, 5 of them are Pākehā organisations. So that's at times has been a struggle, but it's also been a good thing, I think, because it's a lot of the time, well, that's what I see in over the years in working in the kaupara previously, with my previous mahi, is having that transformation happen with a lot of our Pākehā organisations.
Ko te tahi mea taimaha ki au, ko ngā kōrere putanga mō ngā pūtea, ne? Ko tāku rā, ka taia te whānau, te hite nei kaupapa. Ora kau me meana, you don't need money ki te hiki tēnei kaupapa. Ko rā he tātou mahina tēnei kaupapa whānau ora. Ia nohi nohina, nohona i roto o mōtatau, mātou katoa te te hapori o mō te tau e chaki nei tēnā o mātou. O tēnā te kaupapa kia whānau ora. Iwe rārā, ho kau e penihana, ho kau e moni, ho kau e huru, haere tonu te kaupapa. Tāko e ware ana, ka kite mai te iwi, kite mai o tātou whānau, he huru, he moni te mea pai, te mea nui. Tāko he tangata, rakau ke he moni. Engari mana taka mai nei tahi moni i te tautoko i ngā whānau, poaria.
Every iwi is unique, but we're unique in that there are 8 iwi in the whole of Taitokoro, plus Ngāti Hine coming up to be an iwi as well, or at least a large hapu, and several hapu. But we used to call it the Taitokoro peculiarities, in that we've got a high rural nature. We've still got a high number of people, kōrero Māori, or who function on the marae. We're still, albeit some of them don't do that very well, but they actually still function there. But we also got a high number of whānau who are still taking back, like our whānau, who when people get problems and they're living in town, they come home to us. And so there's still a lot of people who are sent back into Te Taitokoro for healing, for grounding, for whatever reason. So there's some of that that's still unique about how we live and how whānau operate within Taitokoro. Yeah.
It's only a mere pittance that we're getting back from them. But a te wā, pērā i te kupu kōrero a Henare. A te wā, ka tūpakari tātou I rungi o tātou ake waiwā. I'm sorry.